Welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page, guys. We're happy to have you here. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us comments, do all the stuff.
What are you waiting for? Let's go. I got a drug addiction to feed.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt, joined live in person with my co-host Adam Glyn. What's up, bud?
Well, hey, dude. How are you?
It's really weird to be next to you.
It's very weird.
I'm so used to just seeing you on the other end of a computer screen.
On the other side of the country. Dax is in LA. I'm in New York. This is the Hollywood Raw podcast where we like to say we humanize Hollywood. You know, we kind of reveal the fourth wall of Hollywood.
I almost like the revealing the fourth wall better than humanizing, because there's a certain point where we're telling stories that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're getting deep into paparazzi culture, into what really happens, how people set up photos, how, you know, we've talked to so many stars on this podcast about, yeah, absolutely, I set up photos. But you know what? It works for me, and it's the thing that no one wants to talk about.
Yeah, you hear a lot of blind items now. That's like the very popular right now. We are veteran journalists. We've been doing this for more than a decade now. Dax and I have both worked on all different parts of celebrity news entertainment. I'm currently running around the street in New York City with my camera trying to do celebrity interviews. We're going to get into that. I have this exclusive interview with Jeff Besos that you can't find anywhere else. It's pretty fascinating.
I would say one thing that we are going to get into, because I don't know, this week, you know, Adam and I were talking and we started just chit-chatting about like some of the craziest celeb feuds that there's ever been.
Love them.
And we started like going down this rabbit hole of like, oh, do you remember this one? No, do you remember this one? And so we're going to make it into an episode today because I think that you guys would like to be the fly on the wall for our conversation on this stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into that. I do want to read off a review real fast, because someone took time out of their very busy schedule to leave us a review, and I want to give them a shout out and say thank you. So this one goes out to Dream Street 20. Left a 5-star review, said, new to the show. Hey guys, I saw the link to listen to Ashley Parker Angel, and I absolutely love your podcast. I'm always looking for a new podcast to listen to, and this will be an everyday listen with 3 hearts. Thank you, Dream Street.
That's the best thing to do. I love that.
And if you didn't listen to the Ashley Parker Angel, for people that don't maybe recognize that name, he was kind of the face of O-Town.
He was the Justin Timberlake of O-Town.
Yes, back in the day. That was obviously an MTV show when they did Making the Band. That band was created, and he quickly became the star of that show. So he was kind of like the front lead guy. He ended up exiting the band. It caused all this drama. We finally got him on. We had already previously talked to the O-Town members. We got him on, and he just unloaded. He did not hold back, and this was the first time he had ever talking about it.
Yeah, it's a fun interview.
Ever talking about it. Wow, what is this my job? What's wrong with me right now?
It's a really fun interview. Again, they were big stars. You know, they are still in the game, but it's fun to hear Ashley Parker's Angel's perspective on O-Town, since we already talked to the other guys of O-Town. But in this podcast, we've also talked to all different kinds of celebrities. We've had Mark Cuban, Tony Robbins, we've had Mike the Situation, we've had bodyguards, who worked with Kim Kardashian, Kanye West.
One, by the way.
So interesting, so wild. But today we're going to get into celebrity feuds. We're going to talk a little bit about the Met Gala. We're talking again, like my exclusive. So I ran into Jeff Besos.
Okay.
Which, by the way, here's what happened. Okay. Crazy day in New York City, Sunday. It's beautiful, great weather out. I'm on a bike. I'm on a city bike in New York City. And all of a sudden I run into a paparazzi who's in his car going by me. I'm like, yo, what's up? How you doing? We're messing with each other, just like yelling at each other, just having fun. And then all of a sudden these 2 like really nice SUVs walk by us. And they
walk by?
Walk by. Fucking A. They drive by us. The license plate said like exclusive or like what? And you could see that there was like a bodyguard in the front.
So you can tell someone
was in this. And we're like, this is weird. So we literally just like, and they saw us, like we locked eyes, us and the bodyguards. We could tell like they knew who we were.
Was the look on their face, oh fuck?
Yeah, they were just like, they found us.
Yeah.
More like, and they drove maybe about 300 more feet. We kind of followed them because like, hey, they were driving very slow. So they were definitely onto something, like something's going on here. So we just like followed them like 300 feet. Next thing you know, they get out of the car and you see this jacked ball guy.
Yeah.
Go into a very nice store in Soho. Who is it? It's Jeff Bezos. I'm like, holy shit.
When the hell did he get so big?
Dude, he's on something. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he just looks good.
He can afford it.
Exactly. But he jumped out. He had like 3 bodyguards with him, which you would think Jeff Bezos, one of the richest man in the world, or him and Elon go back and forth, would have more security. But soup. I got to tell you, like, they go into the store, security comes out right away, and they're like, dude, we locked eyes. We knew we got caught as soon as you saw us. They were the nicest security guys. Like,
which we always say it says a lot about the celeb. If
Sure.
you have nice bodyguards, you are most likely kind to your fans, to people that are out there. I mean, again, Jeff Besos, it's not like he's a celebrity, but at the same time he is.
Yes, yeah.
Because he's so rich, but I do think that says a lot about
so
him.
I would say yes. I would say, but Jeff Bezos, I wouldn't say is the kindest to his fans because he's sort of like an interesting dude.
Well,
However,
you got to be a little protective of yourself.
Oh,
when
100%.
When you're worth that kind of money.
so it's funny. The security comes out. They start talking to us. And they're like, "We knew you caught us," like, and we're just talking like, "How long are you gonna be inside?" They're like, "I think he's gonna be in there for a while. I think he's gonna be there for like an hour and a half." We're like, "Fuck, that's a long time. It's a busy day. It's the Met Gala." So we start to wait around, but then all of a sudden, like, it's funny, like, we're standing with the security. They got the earpieces in. So other people on the street realize, they see us with the cameras, are like, hey, something's going on. So, like, the security hears us, like, people come up to us on the street, like, hey, who are you waiting for? We're like,
So you're causing the chaos.
yes,
outside.
part of it. But
do you tell people when they come up to you, oh, Jeff Bezos is inside?
absolutely not. We usually say it's like, Jimmy's bar mitzvah, because we have cameras. So it's funny to say that. Then they feel awkward, like, oh, it's a bar mitzvah. Like and they just keep walking away. Some people, it just gets weird, and like the security appreciates that because they don't want a crowd. But then all of a sudden, paparazzi started to drive by. Again, we're in Soho. They spotted us. Of course, they're going to stick around to see who's coming out. An hour and a half later, Bezos comes out, and I have this
What was he doing shopping in there for an hour and a half?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know if he was doing a fitting. It's not a big store. I don't know what he's doing.
Did
in the
he
store.
go to Met Gala? Was he there for some Met Gala
have
thing?
to
I saw
think
Elon was at Met Gala.
Elon was there. I didn't see any photos of Bezos at the Met Gala. However, I have to imagine he was there. Isn't it weird? Like, I have to imagine he was there. And the security actually told us that they were going, but they weren't photographed. So maybe they didn't do the red carpet. Because what does he care? He doesn't care about that. Like, he's got more money than anything. But he came out. I had this great conversation with him, and here it is.
Hey guys.
Mr. Bezos, how you doing?
Nice to meet you,
Mr. Bezos, what's your favorite book ever? You could recommend one book. What would you suggest someone read?
Have a good day, sir.
Okay, so he absolutely ignored me.
I did not care.
He did not care. Listen, I tried to be nice. It was so funny because he came out and the street got so quiet.
Agreed. And silent.
Yeah, it's so funny because literally when he came out, the street was dead silence. Like you're in New York City where there's always noise and ambulance or people talking. Everyone got silent, and he walks out to, like, no sound. And
does Lauren ever respond?
No,
His girlfriend?
I mean,
because when she was in LA and she was like on Fox, awesome. So I got to imagine she's still awesome. But I'm just wondering if she is now quiet because she is with the second richest man in the world. So she doesn't want to tick that off.
You could tell she sort of liked the attention. I mean, there's probably about probably about a dozen photographers taking photos of her from about 90 feet away.
Yeah.
So she liked the attention. She looks good. He looks good. I stood a little bit, not too far away, a little bit closer so he could hear my question. And I wanted to ask him something that could bait him into talking. I thought maybe doing some nice question would get him to speak. Like, hey, here's something like a book I could advise the people to check out. Of course, he didn't speak. But then also he pulled out the phone. He was doing a fake cell phone
the Paris Hilton trick.
Yeah, so it was so weird and so corny, but he got in. The video got it's on my TikTok. It's got like 1.3 million views right now. It's blowing up.
It's so funny because I looked at it, I'm like, this video is not even excited. People just love Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
They just want to see what he's doing. Him out in the wild like an animal. All right, so did you sorry not to move on, but to move on because we got to get through this episode today, but did you watch any of the red carpet stuff from Met Gala?
So I did look at the photos. The first thing I saw when I saw I always try to see the people that attended Met Gala. The first thing that came to mind was I didn't think the people that went were that big. Now, don't get me wrong. They are celebrities. Yep. The Sydney Sweeneys of the world, I mean, they're legit celebrities.
Yeah, but they're not like the A-list
Hollywood
Brad
royalty.
And Angelina, given they wouldn't go together. But nevertheless, that caliber of people showing up. But I feel like that transition has been happening over the years. On that note, it's kind of the same with our podcast. Who do we get bigger ratings for? Reality stars and social media stars, they get more people to download this podcast than some of the bigger actors we've had on here.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of caused a little stir on the red carpet, the photographers, which this year I know they didn't allow as many photographers as usual, which was great for the photographers that actually got in. And it's one of the hardest red carpets to get on. Actually to go to the event is one of the most
Impossible.
difficult
Yeah.
tickets to get, and there's a huge
I
celebrity.
know a lot of big stars that were trying to get in and could not get in.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like huge people that their lives have been in front of the spotlight this year, especially this year more than ever, and they still couldn't get in.
It's a while, but even the red carpet to cover it as a media outlet is very, very difficult. And you don't know who's coming until like sort of like the day of you have an idea of who's showing up. If you hang outside the Mark or Carlisle Hotel where everyone gets changed, you kind of know who's going to the event that night. There were some rumors this year that Taylor Swift was going to come. There's some rumors that Britney Spears was going to come. They did not show up, which is kind of surprising. But also this year, like, there's no J-Lo, Ben Affleck. Like, there's no... I mean, I didn't see photos like Katie Holmes.
I think the only person that people really cared about, or the only couple, was Kim and Pete. This was them making their debut. Again, who the fuck cares? Like,
Yeah.
The only thing that I took away from this was this dress that Kim wore, which was Marilyn Monroe's dress.
Pretty cool.
This
cool.
honestly was one of the coolest things I'd heard of.
Very cool.
Because she has the power to have them pull that off of a fucking mannequin at Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Why was it at Ripley's Believe It or Not, by the way?
How do we know that's even the dress? I don't believe it.
I would have expected that to be in the Smithsonian,
That's
not
where
at
it should
Ripley's
be.
Believe It or Not.
Dude.
So she goes, gets this dress. But here's the thing that I don't think most people know about the dress. She didn't wear it into the party. She didn't even take it to the party. There was a dressing room, like a little makeshift dress room, when she got there, put it on, walked the red carpet, took all the photos, and then took it off before going in. That's how expensive and exclusive this dress is. I think it was reported to be like a $4 million dress, but it's priceless. And so they were like, you can walk the carpet, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, like, really, you just did it for photos.
She also went through a lot to get the dress.
Yeah.
She had to go to Orlando and get fitted. She lost a lot of weight. I think she lost like 16 pounds in 3 weeks just to fit in the dress.
How did she know she needed to lose 16 pounds? Like, when you go to put something on, if it's tight, like, you're like, 16 pounds. That's
Yeah.
what I got to lose.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and she obviously had, I think there was security just for the dress that was there because there's so much insurance there. She did make a donation to the museum as well.
Ripley's.
Yeah, it's a Ripley. So now there's going to be extra mannequins outside that we're going to wonder if are real or not. So it's there was a lot going on with the dress.
That was cool, though. I haven't been impressed with an article of clothing because there's some weird shit that people walk down the red carpet
Jared
with.
Leto. Yeah, it was crazy.
But I don't think I've ever been impressed, and that impressed me that she was able to get her hands on that and that people went along with it.
Yeah.
And then there was just Pete in a suit with a tie. Like, how do you can't even compete with that.
No.
There's nothing you can wear. I mean, if he said, like, I'm wearing JFK's suit,
That's
that
the
would have
thing
been
is,
cool.
Pete didn't even he wore like
He didn't even try.
He wore like I think the tux he wore to his prom, you know? Like that's how I was surprised. Like, wait, are we not talking about Pete? And Pete's just really selling the sunglass look right now. He won't take the
He's
sunglasses
so
off.
into it.
But it was again, it was sort of the red carpet debut. However, they were just in DC together doing an event, and they don't need to do a red carpet debut because we already see them together.
Yep.
Pretty crazy, and
I don't even know why that's a thing.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. Wow, I sounded like Harvey Levin right there.
Ugh.
I'm sorry about that. The meat and potatoes. I saw him the other day. He's doing good, by the way.
Oh,
All
nice.
right. So we want to talk about some of the biggest celeb feuds that in our mind go down as like some of the just fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Right? Like not even we're not getting into like Chris Brown, Rihanna. Not that kind of feud.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
want to talk about like Vin Diesel and The Rock.
That's a good
And
one.
how they had this epic feud that then went on to Twitter that like they won't even like they hate each other.
They
now.
dislike each other. It was never meant to go out there, especially with The Rock, who's very, very. He's got a lot of security around him.
Correct.
And not like physical security. Like there's a lot of things protecting him because he's such a big brand. But that fight escalated to social media, and I think The Rock said some things that he regrets and brought it to the public that was not supposed to be public.
Let's get into like the little background here. You know, the Rock and Vin Diesel, they were in the Fast and the Furious franchise together, and this is kind of where their relationship went sour. Apparently, is what I had heard was that The Rock was showing up late to set, and that was pissing Vin off because, you know, he's the star of that movie, and then you got The Rock, who obviously is a bigger star than Vin, but showing up late, and it's kind of disrespectful to the rest of the cast. And so that's where I guess things started to go sour. And then The Rock was like, I'm out. I don't want to do another movie with you.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it went really south. And
Yeah.
so I remember back in like November 2001, Vin Diesel had shared like a still on his Instagram page, and where he called, by the way, The Rock his little brother, quote unquote. I wouldn't
mean,
call him your little brother.
yeah.
I think that was a dig. And basically said that the time has come. He wants to do another movie again, but bringing in Paul Walker's family and saying Paul would have wanted this. And The Rock didn't want this. He wanted to be done, and I think basically Vin Diesel publicly shamed him into not wanting to do it.
It was a lot of guilt there, you know,
A
like
lot of guilt.
making him feel guilty, but also putting the guilt to him where the fans are going to say, you know, The Rock. It didn't put The Rock in a good situation. It put his back against the wall.
He put his back against the wall, but then you're also bringing a friend's name into the conversation who is gone, and his family, and shaming him to, you need to do this movie because Paul Walker would want this, rather than I want it because I want the ratings and I want the money and I want everything else that goes along with it.
Yeah, it was a very strange move.
So that went south real fast. I know that they had a meeting inside one of their trailers that I heard was not a productive meeting, but it was a way to clear the air. I
don't even think that went well.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. It was a bad conversation where the two of them talked, but they didn't resolve shit.
Yeah.
And The Rock wants nothing to do with Vin Diesel. I don't think that this ever even healed itself.
Well, I think The Rock put some stuff out there, which he's, you know, that's not his world, is kind of bringing things to the public. I don't want to say getting out of character because he's such an, you know, strong alpha guy actor. He's got the Disney franchise behind him. He said some things that I think he kind of went after Vin Diesel publicly, and I think he regretted making that decision. But yes, they did have that meeting, and I think they both walked out of that meeting with, all right, that's who you are, this is who I am, and this is how it's going to be.
I can tell you spoke to Vanity Fair, and I'm reading this because it's a quote. He said that while he meant what he said, he regrets posting it on a social media platform. It caused a firestorm, yet increasingly enough, as if every single crew member found their way to me and either quietly thanked me or sent me a note. So The Rock basically said, yeah, Vin Diesel is a nightmare to work with, and even the crew members were coming up to me saying, like, fuck Vin Diesel.
Wow.
That's huge, dude.
That's pretty ballsy to say. That's a ballsy thing to say.
They just fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Have you met Vin Diesel, by the way? Have you ever run across him?
I'm trying to think if I've met him. I don't think I've met him. Have you?
I've seen him around. He's a very unique guy. Like in New York, like he says he's like, you know, he used to be coming up before he got famous. He was a nightclub door guy, and he tries to say, I'm a guy from New York, and tries to come off like I'm a guy of the streets. But from my experiences, he's not the most approachable guy. Not a bad guy, but he's not like, you know, Vin from the block.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely he's become like more of like a myth. I don't know. It's weird. I feel like Vin Diesel eventually become like the new Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
You know, where it's all the Chuck Norris jokes. Like
jokes.
yeah, just Vin Diesel just is the character. Like just
I can see that.
Random quotes about Vin Diesel.
So anyway, that one was just fun to rehash because I had forgotten how much they hate each other.
Yeah.
And then I started like looking back and I was like, oh, they fucking hate each other.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not cool. They are not. They're two of the same kind of dudes who I just don't mesh well.
Yeah, and it's like you just can't get through to them.
No.
Like, no matter what. The other story that I loved, and do you remember Zayn Malik and Yolanda Hadid? And
of course.
How much they hate each other?
Oh yeah.
So if everyone remembers, you know, Zayn Malik and Gigi Hadid, they were dating for a very long time. They have a young child together. But there was a story that came out where Zayn was at his house and Yolanda apparently showed up unannounced, just walked right in, as I got to say, a lot of mother-in-laws do. And he allegedly just went fucking apeshit on her and started cussing at her. And let me bring up some of the quotes that she accused him of saying, because there was a whole police report that was filed, and in the documents it said Yolanda alleged that he called her a fucking Dutch slut.
That's good. I mean, come on. That's
what a line. Your mother-in-law. Good God.
What a line.
And told her to stay away from my fucking daughter. And then the court docs also alleged that he continued to curse towards Yolanda, telling basically that Kai, their daughter, was a result of the fucking sperm that came out of my fucking cock.
Ooh.
Can you imagine saying that to
Oh.
to Gigi's mom?
Say the word cock in front of your mother-in-law. That's just a tough world. That's a tough word,
So
man.
and if you remember, like, he got in a lot of trouble for this.
Oh, yeah.
He pled guilty to, I think it was 4 counts of harassment, and it wasn't just Yolanda; it was also Gigi as well, who was wrapped up into this case, even though she was in Paris at the time. This boiled over to her also being a part of this, which is wild. Do you think, is he just a hothead? Like, what's the deal?
About a couple months ago, there was a video that came out. He was in New York City. It was a late night. He was outside a pool hall and got into it with some guys. I think he might even took his shirt off. Like, it was like a weird thing. Like, he is a hothead. I never work him but from the photographers I know who work Gigi, and because she is a big photo for photographers, Zayn pretty much like never comes out. Like, he's like a vampire. Like, he's a very nocturnal guy, and I think that's what kind of got him into this. Like, she came in, like, apparently I think he's in the studio all night and he sleeps during the day. But he also has had like social anxiety. I think that's what he's sort of known for. It's a wild story. I mean, this is the mother-in-law. It's, neither of them have really commented more than the court documents, the police documents, so the police report. So it's the shit that he's.
If I said that to my mother-in-law, she would take her flip-flop off and fucking chuck it at my
Flip-flop.
face. Yeah, she's from Argentina, so she's not gonna put up with shit.
Yeah,
She'd be
yeah.
like, here you go, chocolate to the face. Even though they don't say chocolate.
Yolanda's like one of the nicest people though too. Yeah.
Yeah?
So it's like, first of all, as you know, if you have a kid, you want the help. So let's say Yolanda came in just to help him out. Like,
yeah, but there is a sense of like, show up announced. There is, like, I get it that there's a lot of in-laws that come and go, and I do like the call. Give me a call and let me know you're coming over, because I don't need a surprise attack from the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't call her all those things.
No.
I wouldn't be alive
But
today.
I think there was already gas in the fire. It was already brewing, and then just came out pretty rough. Her security guy, I think Zayn went after the security guy and got a little physical with him. I mean,
how is he so mad?
he went crazy.
Dude.
He went rough.
Note to self: call Zayn Malik if you're going to show up. Don't show up unannounced. Good God. All right. One of my next ones. Oh, this one was good. Do you remember Justin Bieber versus Orlando Bloom?
No one really talks about.
This is the best feud.
This is
ever.
the best one. There's a lot of.
It's like Kyle versus Kyle.
But yeah. But here's one that no one really talks about anymore. Like, it happened. It was a crazy video. It was a wild, but it didn't get the heat that it should have. Because these are two Hollywood stars that actually got physical.
But the weird part about this story was how they're just like swapping lovers. This was the weirdest thing about this. Because if you remember, obviously one of the biggest news stories for a long time was Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez together. And then Orlando with Miranda Kerr. Like, they were married for a long time. And then everyone broke up and just switched partners. So Orlando started dating Selena Gomez.
Wow.
Justin started dating Miranda Kerr. And it was too much for the guys.
Was he definitely out that he dated Miranda Kerr? Like,
yes.
Was that, okay, it was
100%,
official.
Yes, 100% they dated. But the two guys ran into each other. And this was, what was this? This was, I'm trying to remember where this was at. They ran into each other and had this like brawl, like throwing chairs at each other. And it was all over. This was right around the time that I think Orlando started dating Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like too much for Justin.
It
I
got
think
weird.
there's a part in Justin that like Selena's a part of his heart.
So there's a lot more to that. This story that, for legal reasons, I can't even get into. Which, if you hit up the Facebook page, we have this private Facebook page where we you could write questions to us and we could kind of talk to you about stuff. But there's a lot.
But you have to go to the private one, because there's things that it needs to be behind, not a public wall.
Yeah, no, for sure. But actually, speaking of that, follow us on social media: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We're on it all. We have great celebrity content on our YouTube page that you can't find anywhere else, like the old school, great videos that you see on the streets of LA. That's just really, really cool.
Just search Hollywood Raw. It's super easy. You'll find us everywhere.
But so I can't really talk about this story, about some of the stuff that went in on this, because it's so fucking wild. It's insane. And it goes to allegations that some people are hooking up with other people and cheating, and it's a wild story within this story. But this was a wild thing. First of all, I'll start with this. Miranda Kerr, the hottest celebrity female I've ever seen in person.
Really?
Gorgeous.
Hotter than Kate Beckinsale.
Yes.
Kate Beckinsale, when I saw her, I was like blown away.
No,
how
I agree with
beautiful
you.
She is in
Kate
person.
Beckinsale in my top 5 actually, but Miranda Kerr's number 1. Like she's almost like an avatar. When you see her, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe someone could be that beautiful. Like she's just a work of art. And then she speaks, and she's so sweet and nice. She's
You know who
absolutely
else?
gorgeous.
Paris Hilton, ridiculously beautiful.
Great skin.
Ridiculously beautiful in person.
But I'll tell you what, I sat behind Paris Hilton at an event, at like this theater event, and I think she went to the event before like seeing her makeup team and stuff, or her hair team. It was a little weird, like her hair wasn't great, and I could see like the plugs in her hair from like
Not
the extensions.
Plugs that, like,
Not
where
that
it
plug.
ties in.
I know what you
Paris
call
Hilton
it.
got plugs, hair plugs.
But I saw like the extensions, like the plastic, like it wasn't
So
done well.
basically, how Britney's hair looks every day.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
So I wish she got it, everyone. But Paris, by the way, gorgeous in person. But Miranda Kerr, number 1 prettiest girl I saw in person. But this story, Justin Bieber versus Orlando Bloom, wild situation, because like in some ways to me, I still look at it like there's a big age difference.
I also
Like Justin Bieber's like Orlando Bloom is a man.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber is still a boy to me.
So like, why would you even waste your time?
Yeah.
Like, why would Orlando, like, to me, even engage in a confrontation?
Yeah.
Like, it just makes you look ridiculous.
It does, but however, Orlando Bloom's also the weirdo that fucking kayaks with Katy Perry fucking butt naked. Remember that? Remember that one was fucking schlong out?
I remember seeing those photos. I'm like,
Why would you
okay,
do-
the weird part was that she had her bathing suit on.
She's wearing almost like a one piece.
It would have made more sense if both of them were like,
Yeah.
let's just go be naked. Like, that to me, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, you guys were being wild and, everyone's clothes came off, but like, she's fully clothed and you're just buck naked on your paddleboard.
he-
It didn't make
behind
any
her,
sense.
It was so weird. She almost
And do
looked
you-
like in
do
the
you
photo
think that
how
he-
weirded she was out by this.
Do you think that he did that? Like, did he know cameras were around?
That's a good
think
question.
The only reason I say that is I think he looked a little chubbed up half the time.
Yeah, he was a little
And so,
thick.
like, to me, I think he saw the cameras and he was like, I got to put my best foot forward and chub it up a little bit just so that this makes for a better photo.
So Katy Perry, like, but if she's in the front of the board, whereas he's paddling, looking scared as hell. That's the funniest part. Is here's the crazy situation regarding the Orlando Bloom. There's a story of mine with the Orlando Bloom Justin Bieber thing. So the day Orlando Bloom was on Broadway at the time, and he lived down in Tribeca, and it was a big news story that they got divorced. Orlando Bloom and Miranda Kerr were getting divorced. And I remember it was a Friday afternoon, and I went to go cover it. And there was about 15 photographers down the street. It's a one-way street in New York City. It was a dead street. And all the reporters are waiting down the street, waiting for Orlando Bloom to come out, and they're trying to get a photo of him. And they're standing like far away. And I have a video camera. I can't shoot that far away. I need to get close up. And I said, screw it. I'm going to walk up closer and see if I could get a shot. And I walk up closer, and again, the photographers are so far down the street. All of a sudden, Orlando Bloom walks out of his building as I walk up, and I'm pretty much in front of his door just to check it out. And I wasn't going to stand in front of his door. I just want to get closer to the situation because I was going to ask him, which is, again, this is not something I generally like to do, but I was going to ask him about his divorce, which I don't like to be that guy. But essentially, I was working for a company at the time that's what they wanted. I'm being paid to do it. I that's the part of the job I did not like. But again, I'm sort of obligated to do it, and I was afraid of being fired. That's what you have to do. As I walk closer to Orlando Bloom's door, he pops out, and he was going to Broadway. And he comes out, and I look behind me, and the photographers are, again, about 250 feet away, just talking to each other.
They don't
They don't
see
even
him.
realize that Orlando Bloom came out. I look behind me, and then I look at Bloom. I look behind me, I look at Bloom. They're just hanging out, bullshitting. So I say, fuck it. I whip out my camera. I start filming him. I start talking to Orlando Bloom. One photographer who was on the opposite side of the street saw it, so he ran up and started shooting with me.
Yeah.
And it's all the other photographers, probably about like 10 guys are so far down the street. I start talking to Orlando Bloom. I say, Orlando, how are you doing after the divorce? How are you feeling? Are you guys, was this malicious? Was there anything, behind this divorce? Do you guys still are going to maintain friends? And Orlando Bloom, I get it. It was a very tough situation. He's about to do Broadway. It is a public divorce. Was the nicest guy to me and answered all the tough questions. Again, I think I was sort of nice to him where I wasn't trying to bait him into saying anything fucked up. But I just wanted that thing saying, hey, listen, we're getting divorced. It's all good. We're still friends. We're going to be in each other's life forever. We have children together. We have raised a beautiful family. And he said those quotes. It was really good.
And now I'm going to go have sex with Selena Gomez.
Excuse me as I go bang Selena, and he pops in the car. But I just remember how big that video was. And then all of a sudden the photographers saw it right at the end.
And
Like,
they couldn't get there in
holy
time.
shit! They start jetting down the street trying to catch up to us, and I got the interview. It went huge. It went viral.
Yeah.
But that was just a little backstory into that.
That's awesome. No, okay. I mean that's probably one of the best celeb feuds just to talk about and how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
I think what I love about it the most though is honestly just the switching partners.
Sure, it's crazy.
Like you could have gotten a fight with someone because they started dating your ex, but like the fact that both of them started dating each other's exes, like what the hell are the chances of that? All right. Moving on to maybe one of my top 3 favorite incidences, and this would be Jay-Z and Solange. The elevator video, which, by the way, have I told you that I was probably the second person to ever see this video?
So that's pretty wild. When you first see this video, what goes on in your head? How did that even come? What can you tell me about that video coming to light?
I just remember seeing the video because I was at TMZ at the time, and the video comes across my desk, and my jaw just dropped. Like, you got to remember, Jay-Z and Beyonce had this like such a clean image, and this was before a lot of like the cheating rumors and all of that other stuff came out. So to see Solange kicking and air punching and going crazy in this elevator, you're just like, what the hell happened? What would cause the doors to close and her to just lose it? So like in my mind, it's just like, what happened? What happened? Like, did he say something to her? And to watch Beyonce just stand there and kind of like stand back and not even give 2 shits.
Yeah.
My jaw was just on the floor. Just watching this video, I'm like, this is the most amazing video I think I've ever seen.
So my first question to you, you said the video comes upon your desk. How does a video like that come about? Does someone just find it and say, hey, this is gold? What can you tell me? Because I know.
No, I mean, listen, obviously I can't talk too much because I was under strict NDAs at TMZ, and the last thing I need is a call from Harvey Levin after this podcast being like, you shut your goddamn mouth. No, like things at TMZ, everyone is TMZ. That's all I can say is like once TMZ came around, everyone became a photographer, a journalist, a paparazzi, everything. And so it became so big. Before it was like World Star. A crazy fight happens, you hear in the background, World Star!
Yeah.
And then also when there was a celebrity involved, now it becomes TMZ. And you could literally hear people on videos as they're recording, all right, I'm selling this to TMZ. Oh, I'm calling this to you. I'm sending this to TMZ. Like, that was just what it was. And so, naturally, the craziest stuff would always end up on my desk because my job at TMZ was to buy the photos, the videos, the outside content from either paps or normal people on the street and for us to be able to use it on the show.
Yeah.
And so I got a lot of shit pitched to me.
That's wild.
A lot of it we would never use, and then a lot of it, was great stuff like this.
So let me ask you this, and we're going to get back into the Jay-Z and Solange, but how do you decide which stuff you're going to use and how do you which stuff you're not going to use?
Well, I mean, a lot of that was an editorial decision.
Okay.
So my job, I was still a producer, but I didn't have the ultimate say-so on what would actually end up on the website or TV show. That was, there was a group effort on whether or not I would go forward in purchasing content.
Gotcha.
So that one ended up, and of course everyone's like, yep.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be the biggest story on the planet, which it quickly became.
Oh, what event was that, by the way, that Jay-Z Solange?
They were in Miami. What the hell?
No, it was New York.
I thought it was.
No, it was New York.
Am I forgetting? Was it after? What
it was. I think it might have been after the Met Gala.
Was it?
It might have been after the Met Gala or some event.
There was some big event.
It was a big event, and again, now we should probably.
Why can I not remember?
No. However, when that video came out, and I remember one of my buddies is the one who shot the photos when they walked out of the hotel. It was at the Standard Hotel in New York City.
That's right.
And my buddy who didn't realize he shot these photos of Jay-Z and Solange and Beyonce didn't realize how much money those photos were. Like, he didn't know there was just a fight 45 seconds ago. Shot the photos, the video. Then those videos went. He made so much money off these random photos that they always do sell.
What
but
were they doing that night?
No.
Gee, I'm not gonna waste people's time looking it up right now. But there was a big event before, and it may have been the Met Gala. I don't remember right now. But wow, the Met Gala brings out the worst in people. If that was it,
does.
Because you remember Cardi B and Nicki Minaj
Yep.
at that Met Gala that had throwing shoes at each other and stuff. We should cover
Yeah.
that one in the next topic.
Yeah. But that's
Next time
the
we do this.
The Cardi B Nicki Minaj fight is so long and so ridiculous where you start to wonder, and that's the hard part is sometimes, especially in the hip hop community, where they use beefs to promote stuff, promote albums. You know, they start to.
But I think people don't realize that happens all the time.
That's
like,
true.
There's a lot of fake incidences or whatever just to stir up publicity to get people to let everyone know, hey, they've got a new album, they got a new song dropping, they got whatever coming out, because it's the best way to get your name across all headlines.
Yeah, but
and then in every headline it's going to say, well, Cardi B, who is, has the number 5 song on the Billboard charts or whatever. It's like, it works.
So before we end this, we'll wrap up this story. That fight, the Met Gala.
It was Met Gala.
Met Gala.
Dude, Met Gala, I'm telling you, brings out some shit in people.
It's pretty wild.
Brings
pretty
out
wild.
Some drama. Do you want to talk Chris Brown and Drake, or leave that for our next one?
Let's leave that for next one because that's
a heftier one.
That's
that one's gonna
Yeah.
take some time. And the fact that I clearly did not prepare well enough. Didn't even know it was Met Gala for this last one. I just remember the video is so vivid in my mind that I thought I remembered all details.
Yeah.
I clearly did.
And how'd that video do? Like, did you just see it just
Dude.
go numbers wise?
God, that video was so wild. The world literally was talking about it. The next day, I remember turning on, every morning news station had it. It had obviously the TMZ watermark across it. People were making jokes about it. It quickly became a meme. I mean, it looked bad for them. They were like this family that was so private, and to see that they had such drama that was captured on tape.
I mean, when your sister-in-law starts hitting your husband,
And you don't even flinch.
you don't even flinch.
Like, you don't even put out your arm to be like, Solange, knock it the hell off. She clearly, that to me said that she was on board for whatever Solange was doing.
But you know what the crazy part is also the bodyguard who's just like, what the fuck did I just sign up for? Like, what am I supposed to do? Do I protect Jay-Z? Do I push her? Like, what am I supposed to do in that situation?
No,
like,
even that bodyguard said, not today,
yeah,
Jesus.
that's so that was a crazy one. Is there anything else we want to get?
No, I think those were my favorite ones to date. But I know there's so many more stories.
Yeah, there's
quite a vault in my head of big stories like that.
Yeah, those probably to me were the top ones in my opinion, just because they were so real.
Mm-hmm.
When you have people like The Rock and Vin Diesel, Jay-Z and Solange, where it's like, these are big stars and they're not supposed to be seen like that.
You know what I think is funny about The Rock and Vin Diesel is like they're such like big burly dudes that I don't picture them having drama. Like, I picture them being, like, above drama.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I'm just going to move on.
Can you imagine those two what type of personality people where you're both very successful, you're both alpha dudes where it's just like, we don't vibe well.
Actually getting into a physical fight?
Yeah, I don't think Vin Diesel's got a chance. Corrado! I know. I saw him fighting Fast and Furious. I don't think he's going to throw him over the hood of a car.
It's not going to go well for Vin Diesel.
No, not at all. I mean, I think actually, who would win? I think at the end of the day, I think Zayn Malik would probably beat Dolph because I mean that guy seems angry.
Just like a squirrely little.
Yeah,
he's just go crazy after him.
Who would win? Yeah, Zayn Malik's probably the best fighter because he's just angry. That little fucking cock. Dutch cunt. Oh man, but guys, thank you guys for checking out the Hollywood Raw podcast. Leave a review; it's the best thing to do to support us. We're also on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We're on it all. Follow me at Adam Glyn, Glyn. Dax Holt.
At Dax Holt, and make sure you head on over to our Facebook page, like we mentioned earlier. We do obviously have the Facebook page, and then we have the secret private room, which is like our I don't know, where we can reveal even more stuff.
Yeah.
What did you want to put up there? I forgot what you were talking about earlier.
No, I mean,
ask us the real questions there.
We got some questions. Like, we even give you some stuff that's going on with the Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. We're the only pro Amber. No, we're just kidding. Dude, you cannot say that right now. Oh, my God. But, guys, thank you guys for listening. Check out our old episodes. We got tons of different content, people that are just really fun interviews. The people we like to have on this episode or on this podcast are people we find interesting. We don't care about the role they played. We care more.
We don't even care if they were famous 10 years ago and they haven't done a role since. We want to talk to them because they're interesting.
That's right. Thank you guys for listening.